Um, Good morning. Thank you for having us here today. I come here today to testify on basically a culture of fear and retaliation that has surfaced down at the dormitories in recent years. I can tell you that I'm a third-generation student at the University of Hawaii, and my grandfather graduated there in 1942. Currently, I'm the University of Hawaii at Manoa student president, and I'm shocked and dismayed at the current state student housing has found itself in. Housing for many years has been a standalone unit with a great degree of autonomy outside of the administration. Only now, with the reorganization of the University of Hawaii at Manoa, have they had to answer to anyone. I believe all parties involved want is what is best and safest for the students. The question is, how do we go about doing that? The best way to ensure this safety, I believe, is through this managerial audit by an outside entity to get an outside opinion about what exactly is going on down there, and to root out these problems that have made students quite skeptical of the environment in which they live. We work very well with our administration in advocating for students on many other issues, and are highly supportive of the 24-hour library, the arts and science advisors, and deferred maintenance. However, I believe student housing needs special attention. Allegations of embezzlement, sexual harassment, censorship, and intimidation tactics on the internet are highly troublesome, and 12 different students have voiced to me today that these intimidation practices have discouraged them from coming forward. If you could look behind my testimony, there's a screenshot of a website that went up and discouraged these 12 students from coming. It is labeled, "Don't mess with your RAs because we know where you live, bitches." And this is characteristic of a dysfunctional attitude of RAs towards students. Students are evicted without notice because of threats on hearsay. So if we take that roommate scenario again, where I accuse my roommate of threatening me, well, basically, he's now a threat to me in the community and he's evicted. However, this RA who created this website, who left tangible evidence on the internet threatening students to which he's supposed to be building communities in, is still working and hasn't been relieved of their duties. I believe this is a dangerous double standard, and it doesn't make any sense to me. If it had been anyone other than a housing employee, they would have been evicted from the building immediately. So far, no one has been able to explain to me how embezzlement went unnoticed at Gateway for over half a year. And I'll take this time to read a brief statement by a student named Fusai, who swears that the following statement is true: that during the summer of 2005, living at International Gateway House, hall director Levin Wilson was the acting housing director. I feel that Mr. Wilson abused the title and authority of his said position in regards to the handling of my personal housing situation. Mr. Wilson stipulated that my residence at International Gateway House was dependent on several factors. First, Mr. Wilson allotted a set number of hours that I was required to paint over the course of the first summer of my housing period. Secondly, I was to pay $958 as rent for my occupation of a room. I did in fact make out a check for $958 to Levin Wilson. That check was dated and signed by me. At no time did I render payment in the form of any to the University Housing Services. So basically right here we have a hall director who's renting out rooms during the summer and pocketing the money. He had quite a nice wardrobe, I can tell you that. So far, no one's been able to explain to me how it is that 3,000 letters were confiscated and detained from a democratically elected student government. Currently, the student government, the 93rd ASUH Senate, has passed legislation unanimously against these housing policies and has voted 17-5 in favor of pursuing legal action against the school if these policies are not reformed. The problem with these policies, as you can see through the paperwork in front of you, is vast and wide. And a big issue that has come up is these room searches. And the policy for these alleged drug use is there's no training for the RAs. We have former RAs who've come forward, if you look through your testimony, saying that there's no certification for knowing what illegal substances smell like. So there we have it. It's very hard to ask people to do a job that they are not trained to do. These policies aren't consistent, where if you look through our school newspapers, if campus security thinks a student was smoking weed, they ask them to leave the area. If a student's thought to have been smoking weed down the dormitories, they're immediately written up and their room is searched for evidence. As the president of nearly 3,000 undergraduates at student housing and the 11,000 undergraduates at UH Manoa, I fully support this managerial audit request in the interest of public health and safety of our students. Without this audit, there could be countless other incidences of students being violated, and we need to know to make sure it does not and cannot happen again. Thank you.